All right, guys, welcome to Going Gray. I'm Jeremy. That's
You.
We've seen that there's been a lot of things going on with COBB, and we wanted to go over some of the things that we think about it, touch basis on it, as a channel, what we're going to do, and how we're going to move forward. This doesn't really affect me per se. Since I am part of the Euro group, we don't get a lot of things deleted. We don't need a lot of files deleted, but it affects him and his car. He has EGR deletes that he needs, that has to be done to get the power that he wants. He has TGV deletes that he needs to do big turbo. So with that being said, I'd like to get your view on everything, on what you think is going on.
Well, it's right now, I think the community is mainly freaking out, but there's not a lot of information out there as of right now. While COBB sits on that 14-day grace period, no one has access to any of the new software. So everyone's kind of in speculations as of right now. Even when you read the information they put on the web page, you'll notice that they basically say these features include but not limited to, can and cannot be. They use a lot of words without really putting anything into stone of what they're doing. So as of right now, the community is kind of freaking out. Everyone's selling all their COBB stuff, talking about what they want to do, but in reality, you really don't know what's going on with their software or what they're blocking out. Because in reality, it's just emissions. So yes, flex fuel and TVG deletes, things like that you can't do because you bypass all your emission stuff. But I don't see why you still wouldn't be able to do like a G20 turbo. COBB sells those. Well, what would be their point? No one's going to buy it if you turn off, software to not be able to use it. So It's a big money loss for them. So it's kind of hard to say. They're not, some people are taking into speculation that you won't be able to do higher boost. You're going to get engine lights saying you're over boosting. Again, it's just speculation until someone plays with the software and is able to see what they're really going to regulate. Because if you're within emissions, you should be able to be still doing tuning.
Yeah, and that was a thing that I found doing a lot of research ever since this whole green thing came out. I went on the COBB's website, and I went on a lot of websites that pertain my vehicle. I have the Volkswagen Jetta and I have the Golf R, so I am part of the Euro group. And everything I looked on for COBB's website is state legal or emissions legal, available for all 50 states. So it looks like they're taking out a lot of their non-compliant stuff. With that being said, can you still do the TGV deletes? Yes. There is other things like open source. There is, other tuners that don't need COBB and COBB's access port. So that going that route, you would lose your monitoring. As of right now, we don't know if you can lose your monitoring if you go through a different source. Can you still get a tune from, let's say my end, APR? Can I use COBB as monitoring, see if I'm getting boost, do data logging and stuff like that? I don't know. That's what you were talking about. There is still a lot of things that COBB hasn't released. So until everybody gets that their actual updates and people could monitor and mess with it, that's when I think we should do the big topics of all right, this is a paperweight. If I got to go through APR and I can't monitor my stuff through my $600 access port, why did I buy the access port? Same thing with him, if he has to go through an open source to do his big turbo like we're planning on, why does he have an access port? How are we going to monitor? We're going to have to go through a third party to monitor. You know, we're going to have to get those stupid little dongles that, you know, connect to your phone that aren't very good at the moment. You know, some are okay, you know, if you're going to do, you know, just monitoring. But if you want a data log, it doesn't read over everything. So now that all this is going on, what do you think your route is going to be for the STI?
I think as of right now, it's just going to be looks and suspension until I see what's going on. You know, we do have a turbo sitting downstairs from here that we never put in, and new up pipe and all that fun stuff, which kind of sucks that, you know, there's no point. Like, tuners are telling you to rush in, but everyone's on like a 3-month backlog. So you're not going to make it in time. Plus, whatever tuning you do, if you need to do tweaks or adjustments, after you get that one tuned, you can't do tweaks or adjustments. So, like, if you are rushing to get a flex fuel kit put in, that's basically where you're going to stop. Like, you won't be able to do anything until you go to a standalone system, you know, which makes it a pain. But, like, I think the memes are great.
Memes are killer. Guys, loving the memes.
But, you know, everyone's kind of panicking right now. But I feel like you got to kind of wait and see. You're talking about a company, there's a lot of money, and it isn't just one company. There's I forget what the parent company is to COBB, that a lot of the Subaru community is talking about, that you should just switch to.
Oh, ECU. ECU. I think I have
ECU Tech.
Yeah, ECU Tech. They're the same company.
But they're saying in a few more months, they're going to be going the same route too. It isn't really their fault. You know, you have to be compliant. Now, there's no reason why, with so many people out in the community, there has to be software engineers. There has to be, you know, people that can reverse engineer and redo stuff. You know, I've already seen on Subaru pages people putting Raspberry Pis, being able to monitor, use it as a monitoring system, just like a COBB, put a LCD screen, and you could do the same thing that your access port was doing, at least just a data log and monitor, which you go an open source route, you put your stuff on, and then you use that to data log. So much easier than carrying a freaking laptop around.
Yeah, because with the Raspberry Pi, what I've been reading up on why people are doing Raspberry Pi is they're installing the software like Android. They're installing an older version of Android onto the Raspberry Pi, since it doesn't take up a lot of space, so you don't have to leave your phone as a monitoring system. You know, nobody wants to leave a nice or an older phone in their car 24/7. You know, the heat will kill that phone. You're going to replace that phone eventually. But a Raspberry Pi costs you $20. You know, you can do the whole kit for, I think, for $30. So I'd rather blow $30 every 2 months than, you know, a $300-$400 phone.
Yeah.
So that's what they're doing. They're uploading that, and you're doing like things like Torque and I forget the other software that is on there that you could use for the OBD port things. I forget what they're called. The dongles, the OBD2 dongles that, you know, reads all your software and stuff like that. So now with all that, I have a few things I wanted to go over. You know, there are workarounds. There is open source, there's standalone, there's jailbreaking, and there's other different tuning companies. All right, so open sources. You know, for Subaru itself, you know, there's Ram Raider, Carberry, Virtual Dyno, Boost Performance, and HP Tuner. If they can tune on COBB, they can tune on open source. You know, it all started from open source tuning. People have been tuning cars way before COBB was around. COBB just made it easier for the mass. You buy an off-the-shelf tune, upload it to your COBB, then you upload it to your car. It was just easy. You can go to a tuning company, go open source, get your car tuned.
Cobb just made it basically idiot-proof for anybody that isn't a die-hard car person, someone that likes cars but doesn't really know much about them. They could get an access port and be able just to pull a file off a computer, put it right on. No ifs, ands, or buts, you know.
Correct.
And, you know, but back in the day, and like people are still doing that on other platforms that, you know, Cobb doesn't even work with. It is the nature of tuning. And in reality, if you're gonna go rotated turbo and go all out, it isn't your daily driver anymore. Two, you should just go to a standalone system because it's just better for monitoring. This Cobb Access Port is a very basic monitoring system. It is nothing crazy. Yes, you get your data logs, but that's about it. Like, I like mine because now I don't have to have like by 16 different gauges to have down my that's what I loved about it, was being able to have everything on one spot so I can see my boost, air to fuel ratios, my dam, all that fun stuff without having to have a bunch of gauge pods coming down.
Yeah, that was something I was going to bring up. You know, that was one of the things in the car community that everybody's seen, was those gauge pods. You see them everywhere.
You get a little blue, red, yellow, color coded.
And since Cobb came out and all these companies came out where it's just a monitoring system on one screen, it became a meme that you're rice. But they're still open source tuned. That's the way they were monitoring it. You know, I was that way when I had my old Jetta, not the Jetta that you've seen on the page. You know, I had pods everywhere. And everybody used to make fun of me about it, like, oh, what's your boost gauge for? What's this for? What's that for? It's everything that I still use on my Cobb. I still monitor. I still look at my volts. I still look at my oil temperature. I still look at my coolant temperature. I look at my boost. I look at everything on just Cobb itself. But before, it was just a whole bunch of pods. Yes, it was littered in pods, and it drove me crazy sometimes looking from there, like, damn, my AFR looks high. What's my boost? Oh, I'm at a 2-bar. Oh, shit. Oh. And I'm looking all around to try to figure things out when I could just have a little screen. That's why it became so idiot-proof. And everybody loved Cobb.
It's a plug-and-play feature.
Exactly.
Like, before you're buying the gauges, you're running all these wires through your firewall into different sensors to be able to set it up. With Cobb, you paid $600, $650 for the access port, and you plugged one thing in, and you had full access to everything.
The hardest part was running the wire behind the dash and folding it, because they give you a 10-foot cable.
So the person in the back seat could monitor for you.
Yeah, if you wanted to. Become an Uber driver. Hey, can you tell me what my boost pressure is? Now, the other workaround, like I said, there was open sources. Like I said, there was RAM Raider, Carberry, Virtual Dyno, Boost Performance, and HP Tuner. HP Tuner doesn't have anything out yet for the Subaru community. It looks like HP Tuner is more of a domestic source. So that is still out there, though. I have seen people have been talking to them and posting it on forums. Like, they are willing to work and look into Subaru.
And that's the thing. You're talking about a multi-million-dollar business. Somebody you would think would step up to the plate and they're going to do something. Whether it's somebody that is, we're in Florida. You know, we don't have emissions. So it's like, if you get somebody in the Florida community that builds something like that, you can restrict where you sell the items. Now, you're not liable if someone has it shipped to Georgia to a family member, and the family member out of Georgia sends it to California.
Yeah.
I sold it within the proper states that didn't have anything to do with emission.
So, there was a lot of talk about people going, why doesn't Cobb do like everywhere the other people that have had the EPA go after them, stop selling to California? Well, Cobb will hurt in the long run if they stop selling to California. You know, our car communities are big. California is a big car community. You know, they are feeling the blunt end of everything. And yes, there's a lot of workaround people out there that are riding illegal and are feeling the impact to it. So Cobb would be stupid if they didn't follow the emissions for California. Now, that being said, like, why aren't they just only if you live in this area code, and this area code that have these emissions, you can't do this. Why are they doing that? Only COBB knows. You know, I know it is a federal thing that's going on in all 50 states. You know, even Florida has emissions that we do have to follow. We just don't get it regulated. We don't have to get these stickers and stuff on our cars.
Well, like, also look at your, what is it next year production vehicles have to average, 40 miles per gallon.
Right.
Moving forward, any new car sold. So regulations are coming down everywhere. Thing is, a lot of industries are just trying to become compliant or be ahead of it because they know it's coming down the food chain. Eventually, they're going to have to comply. So it puts them kind of in a predicament. So you can kind of look at it as, play devil's advocate here, is that COBB's trying to be ahead of the game. Like, they're saying they're trying to look for a basic workaround because, with the TVG, with your flex fuel kit, it is bypassing emissions because you're using the harness from your TVG to fuel your flex fuel meters and everything.
Yeah, to get the monitoring and stuff like that.
Yeah, so, they're bypassing things to get other things to work, which then default off of emissions. So they didn't say completely that they're done with flex fuel. If you actually, read into it, they said they will be coming back and they're working on stuff. Now, they've known for, 5-6 years that I was reading.
Time, yeah,
that this was coming down the food chain and they've been trying to work on it. Granted, it is kind of a dick move that, they sold a bunch of stuff without informing people that this was coming. Didn't really want to talk about it, but, it's just, I don't know. I think they'll eventually get something. I can't see a company just shoot themselves in the foot.
I don't think they will. I don't think they will shoot
have a game plan.
I also feel, should COBB refund everybody that's bought it this year?
They are. They did send out an email. I saw that this morning.
Yes.
Flex fuel kits that are new, still in box. They're telling all their tuners, if someone brings it in, you need to refund them, and then they're going to reimburse the tuning shops and stuff. If it isn't new, it's on a basis term. It's based on, let's say you bought it 4 months ago, never installed it, you had to talk with them, or you just installed it, but you're not going to be able to get it tuned, so you had to pull it back out. It's all going to be on a case-by-case basis if it isn't still wrapped up.
Right. Now, that also being said, if you do keep your kits, there is a workaround it with the TGV deletes. All right. So you're going to have to go old school. You're going to have to do 2 tune files. If you don't already have it done, listen, to my people that already have these files done, don't worry. Don't plug your COBB in. All right. If you have your tunes done, you're set, you're ready to go, leave your COBB alone. Let it be in your car. Don't update it. Don't even plug it into the computer. If you want to do data logging, find other ways. Like I said, there are apps that connect to your phone that use the OBD2 dongle. Data log that way if you need to figure out what's going on with your car. All right. We're gonna have to go old school if you want to do E85 using COBB's flex fuel monitoring. All right. You're gonna have to do 2 tunes, one for your regular pump gas, one for your E85. If you're gonna do a blend, and you want to try to monitor a blend, there are other companies out there that have monitoring system like Fuel Tech, where you just plug it into your same route. It displays on your phone what your evaluation is, or what where you want to be. Like if you're doing an E30 tune, you can do the math. All right, you need, your tank is 14 gallons. You need to put 93 in at 4 gallons. The rest E85. Or if your pump doesn't have E85 and it's an E70, once you do your test, it tells you where to go from there and how much gas to ethanol you need to do. So yes, you'll need to go back to 2 tunes. Sucks, driving around, having to waste all that E85 to burn it out so you could daily your car. Honestly, guys, if you're at that point where you're doing 2 different tunes, if you're trying to do a track weekend and stuff like that, it's the better route anyways. E85 is corrosive. You don't want to keep that in your car all year long, especially for my northerner people. Have you had a cold start on E85? It takes some time. Us people in the southern states that don't get a very cold season, it doesn't really affect us, but it is still corrosive. Now, the TGV deletes, on the big turbos, especially for Subi. I don't know any other company that has their TGVs in the back right next to their turbos. I haven't looked into it. I'm just looking at Subi's. He has a big turbo that we're planning on putting on his car. We never mocked it up to see if it's going to be in the way. Is it a blue? The Garrett?
Green.
You have
FP green.
You have the FP green. So we're gonna have to look into that before we go any further. The car might just be staying as a show car. Beautiful ride. That's pretty fast. It is, but it's stage 3 already.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not slow. It's really not slow.
But in the end, as long as it fits without having to do the TGV deletes, they're saying you're still going to be able to tune. Now, like I said, some people are reading into it that you can't. But again, it's no definite no definite words of what they're going to exactly do. But as long as you're getting on by with emissions, it's fine. And shit, there's Hellcats out there. There's fucking Corvettes out there. There's a bunch of things with 500 to 700 horsepower that go through emissions and are fine. It's just a matter of you have to have your emissions right. So it's just going to make it more difficult to tune and do all that fun stuff. And again, for anybody that's still wanting to go to the flex fuel, do the TVG deletes, and we'll just go to standalone. Yeah, you might be spending a lot of money on standalone. Granted, it's going to range about $2,500. But if your car is not a daily, and which it shouldn't be if you're going to a rotated turbo and all that fun stuff, everything right now everyone's selling is super cheap, like stupid cheap. Someone's selling a whole flex fuel kit with TVG deletes and a rotated mount for like $1,200. Yeah. He's like, I bought it, I never got to put it on, and there's no point of it now. Like, I'm not gonna invest in so like people are selling it stupid cheap. So like, even if you're like, well, down the road I might get a project car, it's worth buying the crap.
Yes. So as of right now, buy everything. If you're planning on going rotated, if you're planning on doing the E85, the TGV deletes, do it now. It's cheap. People are falling for this whole thing and like rushing to sell everything so they could go a different route, sell their cars. I don't know, but invest into those now. Now, e-tunes, you can still e-tune as long as your emissions, you follow the emissions. On my end, I know EQT is doing their big turbo with a stock downpipe on a Golf R, getting 410 horsepower on 91 pump gas. 410 with stock downpipes. Remember that. So you can get these high numbers out of stock items. Now, is it going to melt the cat down the road? Who knows? I am going a different route. Yes, I already have a catless downpipe for the Golf R that hasn't been installed yet. I am also doing the resonator delete, all the stuff that is against emissions. But I live in Florida. Do I care? Not really. There is things that I have heard that I am going to test out on my car. Spacers, the O2 spacers. Do they help with not having a cell light come up? I'm gonna be the dummy that tries it. I'm gonna be the guinea pig. I want to know because I am going catless. So I don't want to run a cat. I want my car loud as hell. I want everybody to hear me from a mile away. I am also going to build a car to be the fastest manual Golf R in the United States. That is my plan with my car. No matter if I go through COBB, if I use the access port for my tuning or anything, I am going to be the fastest manual Golf R in the United States. All right, now going on to other things. Like I said about the open source, there are standalones that should have a plug-and-play system for Subarus. Haltech, I know some of the new Haltech have the plug-and-play for, I think it's 2015 and up for the STIs. Motec. Motec's on their website says that there is a plug-and-play features for Subaru. They don't give the models. I was doing a little bit of research and then Smeedy came up and I listened to a lot of things he said. He as well is saying that there should be a plug-and-play feature for most Subarus. M-Tron, I've never really heard of M-Tron. I'm also going off of Smeedy because I was looking a lot for Yui, doing a whole bunch of research and, research for this channel. So I bounced off of vlog after vlog after vlog, website after website after website, going off of what they're saying, scrolling through. I didn't see anything about Motec or M-Tron. AEM, I know AEM does have plug and play for most cars. I don't think they have any for Subaru itself. You might have to run a whole new engine harness. You have to rerun everything yourself. Fuel Tech does have harnesses for older gens. They are a new company, so I wouldn't doubt that they have anything for the newer gen STIs. Link ECU, no clue who they are. Again, heard it from a different company or a different vlogger, a different car guy that deals with Subarus itself. No clue. I looked for the website and the only website I got was in Spanish that had Link ECU. So,
and that's the thing too to keep in mind. Like, people are jumping to things like, it's funny. What are those data link cables that everyone's talking about?
The Tatrix?
Yeah, the Tatric. So you can find those all over eBay, but 90% of them aren't legit. Like, you can get them from, like, I think MA Performance has it, FastWRX.com has it. Granted, they're a lot more expensive.
I was going to say, speaking of, there was a spike in price on those. What, 2 months ago? You look at a Tatrix, yeah, they were $90. Now they're almost $300. Same thing with the VAGCOMs. They were $65 like 3 months ago. The last time I looked, when I was looking for tuning options. Now I'm looking at them now. I'm like, Jesus, $199, $245. Mm-hmm. Like these companies seen this happening and started spiking up way before COBB did their thing.
It's a lesson learned. Always have a backup plan because
backup plan to the backup plan.
Yep, you never know what's gonna happen.
So the jailbreak option. Do I think there will be a jailbreak that we would be able to get all these deletes and stuff like that? I do. I believe there will be a jailbreak here in the near future. A lot of people are talking about, why wasn't there a jailbreak before? Why can I unmarry this car and use it on another car and still keep the tunes? It wasn't valuable then. It's 4 out of 10 people wanted to do that. 4 car enthusiasts had multiple Subarus. Mm-hmm. So, it wasn't very valuable. Now it's valuable. There will be somebody that's like, I could get money out of this. And we'll find out how to decode everything and how to jailbreak it, because they know they could just, all right, you want to keep all this, get your deletes and all this stuff, $100 download this software, $200 download the software.
And that's the thing, no one's gonna publicize that they're doing this because in reality it's not technically legal, because it's copyright infringement. You're stealing someone's, patent on a program that they designed. So no one's going to publicize it and say they're doing it, but it will probably pop up. Like I said, there's plenty of software engineers that are car enthusiasts and
and you will hear word of mouth. I don't think there's going to be a big post.
Kind of like your Fire Stick. People got their Fire Sticks jailbroken. Download a bunch of stuff, but it isn't like people are selling it online, or it's
No.
like a friend of a friend of a friend tells you about it, and they're like, I'll take it and do it.
I'm pretty sure once you go to somebody that like on a dyno and you're like, oh, I have a COBB, but like I'm really like I got catless downpipes. I have all these emissions, like non-compliant emission stuff on my car. Eventually, somebody will be like, oh, we have for $200 extra, we could delete all this stuff, just keep it a word of mouth, don't post it everywhere.
Yeah.
Eventually we'll get to that. So yes, I do feel like in the near future it will happen. So do I feel like COBB is gonna go down? I have a feeling that right now COBB is gonna shoot low. They're gonna feel the side effects of it. Is it gonna be for the rest? Is it gonna close the company down? No, it's not. COBB has been so big into the community for so long. This little hiccup is not gonna do anything. They are themselves going to find workarounds. I feel like, they're trying to be as emissions as possible without being emissions as possible. Like the E85. They're already talking about, instead of using your TGV, they're going to find a workaround so they can pull it for somewhere else that's not emissions. That's not going to affect your car and your driving capability. They're going to find a way. And then they're going to bring out those kits. And I guarantee, people that have had kits that had to return them are going to get the email again and go, here's 25% off or here's 30% off. Let's get you back into our group.
Well, you have to keep in mind. So, flex fuel has been around for a while now. What, mid-2000s? Chevy started putting out flex fuel cars. So, there are plenty of vehicles that come standard from a dealership with flex fuel. So, there are ways of doing it. One. The problem is JDM cars, because what you're noticing with COBB is it's all JDM.
Yeah.
You got your GTR and the Subarus are the two that everyone's complaining about. Volkswagen, it's not that bad. Because in reality, their computer systems are totally different. It's the computer systems on the models that we have. So that's what makes it more complicated to do. We know every time my car threw a code for a cam sensor or the battery starts to die and tells me it's a bad cam sensor and it's not a bad cam sensor, the whole freaking thing just kind of goes into limp mode and it spazzes out. You know what I mean?
Just because you had low voltage in your battery.
Yeah. But then I had the Genesis that needed a tune, but that thing still was pushing like 30 pounds of boost and it was perfectly fine and it just ran with an engine light on. It was like, eh.
Yeah, because, we're at that stage in our cars right now that the ECU is going to learn to do it itself. So the camera died. We're going to do this real quick. So the last couple things that is on our list of things, different tunes for Volkswagen itself and a lot of Euro cars, Revo, APR, Unitronics, IE, 034 Motorsports. All have their own tuning source. They're an open source tuning companies that doesn't involve COBB. So you can go through them if you're worried about COBB affecting the Volkswagen community or the Euro community. Now, as a channel, where do we see us going? We're going to keep going on the grind. We are going to build our cars the way we want to. We will find ways around it. Yui's car, it's up to him what he wants to do. My car, like I said, my cars, I'm still building them to be fast. Fast as fuck. The Jetta is going to be the fastest Jetta around. The Golf R is going to be the fastest manual Golf R around. And I'm still going to daily drive it. What do you think you're going to do with the Subaru?
Don't know. It's kind of a waiting game for anyone in the Subaru community at this point. We'll see. Like I said, if you can't get a lot of power anymore, in reality you should be able to still push 500 horses with the restrictions that they're going to put out, but there's always suspension work. You just fucking tear it apart and do a rally car, what it was built for. Do better suspension systems. You can have the fastest car in the world. If you can't make a turn, still gonna beat you. So, you know, plus there's a few things that are coming out that I've been talking about I might want to buy. So there might be something new that comes along to the channel down the road. So, you know, there's a few things, as well as we can make the fastest Ford Ranger.
Yeah,
we have 2 Ford Rangers just kind of sitting around. Mine's my daily, basically.
I just sit there that I want to 5.0 swap it or LO swap it. There are other cars that we're looking into buying. There's other routes that we're looking to go. So the channel's not going to die because of this, because we're part of that community. Hondas have other softwares. Mazda has other software. Volkswagen have other software. Subarus have other software. Cars have other softwares that we can do. Other ways that we can tune.
There's always workarounds.
There is something that our channel will not die. So that being said, guys, we appreciate you. We love you guys. Stay tuned. You'll see the next thing that comes out. All right. Adios.